balance update. Something, I'll be honest, I did not think I'll hear from pvzheroes of all things. Alright, this update people knew will come after the leaks that happened way back. But nobody believed they will actually release eventually. Little did we know they will actually release. And some of these are good, some of these are bad. The game is kinda broken right now. And some changes should just not have happened at all. I'm here to tell my opinion on these changes because I play this game. I really fucking love this game, and these changes mean a lot because it's been a long time since this game ever got updated, like 7 years, which is wow. Crazy to think this game is back on the radar of PopCap. Too bad, I kinda wish it wasn't. Now, let's start with the plants, and then the zombies. First of all, we have the Guardian Glass. The Galacta Cactus is now a 2-1 instead of a 2-2. This is a whatever change. Galacta Cactus now just dies to literally everything, like it didn't already do before. It's just that now it basically just means Galacta Cactus can have a chain reaction. Not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. Gardening Gloves, he now conjures a trick instead of drawing a card. It's kind of a weird change because it makes the card worse, but it makes it more fun if you want to just roll the dice for something good. I don't know how to feel about this one. Photosynthesizer now costs 2 instead of 1. Yeah, well deserved nerfed because of the upcoming card. Triceratops is now a 1-2 instead of a 1-3. This is probably the biggest nerf this card will have gotten. Difference between being a 1-2 and a 1-3 in this game is... it's night and day. Finally, Triceratops is no longer a fucking auto-win button in every goddamn Guardian class, and Photosynthesizer now has a harder time making Triceratops unstoppable. Much needed changes. Marine Bean is now a 3-3, it was a 3-2. Honestly, I really don't know how to feel about this. I don't use Marine Bean, but I can tell you, it's good change, but I don't know if it was necessary. Primal Walnut is now an 8-0 instead of a 0-9. I really don't know if this means literally anything in the grand scheme of things. It's like 1 damage difference. What's it gonna die to it now? Octozombie is gonna kill it. Zombal was already killing it, so it's literally just changing 1 little encounter that's rarely happening. Spikeweed Sector now costs 3 instead of 2. Plant environments should cost less than zombie environments, not the other way around. It doesn't make sense. Plants don't have last say when it comes to environments, zombie have. It should have maybe been made to 1 or just kept at 2 instead of whatever this is. Now Mirror Knot, this is a massive one. Mirror Knot now has 11 HP, which is like the most HP in the entire game now. And it deals 1 damage instead of 2 damage when it's hurt, or any knot's hurt. But now it has Bullseye, which means it never charges the opponent's block meter. Basically now, splash damage on a knot deck is like the worst deal ever, if you cannot kill the Mirror Knot. Because it just means the Mirror Knot just causes a massive chain reaction where you're just having your entire HP bar depleted with no way to counter it. It's gonna be it's a good change, but oh my god, this is gonna be so brutal. I'm not sure if it's gonna be healthy for the game. Now, Prickly Pear got reworked. He used to be a 0-4. He deals damage to whatever hurts it, and that's it. Literally not worth the cost. Now it's a 5 cost 0-10 that hurts the zombie hero for 2 damage when it gets hurt. I'll argue it's worse than it was before now, because 2 damage is better than 1 damage, but it's not by a long shot. It needed more damage to make it viable. Right now it's definitely way worse than before. Smacademia is now a 4-5 instead of a 4-4. What change is that gonna make? Seriously. Oh wow, it's now gonna be a 4-7 after being played. who cares? It's still gonna die the same way. It needed to be a damage buff instead of a damage nerf. A health buff, but sorry. Tough Beats is now a 2-2 and gets one for each zombie plant. It used to be a 6-1 and got 1 health for each. This is definitely a better change for Tough Beats. It's only gonna be better. Now Gravity is untreatable. Previously it wasn't. Gravity was already very well statted. I think it was 6 cost or 7 cost, 7/7 with armor, and it put zombies out of position. It was already well statted, and Triggerable just overtunes this card drastically. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is healthy for the game, but it's... Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be healthy in the long run. It's gonna make Gravity way too good. Now the Kabloom class. Hot Lava is now a 0 cost environment. It used to be 1. I mean, at least it's free. It's gonna synergize well with, I guess, Pear Cop and Hibernating Berry. Now that's a 0 cost. But zombies still have last say. It's still gonna get replaced. You just don't lose anything for placing it now. Aside the environment. Blooming Heart is now a 2-1 instead of a 2-2, which fine. Already Punchy Plumber completely wrecked it. And I guess now this helps, because I've had times where this thing grew way too out of control and I could not put enough damage in it. Puff Shroom now costs 1. Oh boy. Who looked at Puff Shroom and decided it needs to cost 1? This is the most baffling change I think I've seen in any game update. Puff Shroom, it was good because it costed 0. It's mediocre at best. It only was good because it was a 0 team up. Now it's just bottom of the barrel. Dear God, pine cones are crying right now. Rip Puff Shroom. The Invasion Space is now a 2 cost 1/4 instead of a 3 cost 2/4. Actually good change because it was too pricey before and it needs an environment. If you are wondering, it gets damage when it's in an environment, so basically this makes it better. I suppose you could synergize it with Hot Lava. It's the worst synergy you could have, but it's a synergy. Now Seedling went from a 0-1 to a 0-2. Truly the change of all time. Now, Seedling at least won't die horribly, but it's still gonna die to mostly everything. Like the only thing it won't die to is something like Teleportation Zombie or a Middle Manager that didn't get any buff to damage. Overall, it's not gonna make the biggest of difference, but it's gonna activate often. Wildberry now has Anti-Hero 2, so now it's went from a 4-1 that just to a 6-1. I guess it's fine. It's not the biggest deal, but I guess it's fine now. It deals a lot of damage for its turn. Sizzle now costs 3. Yes! Actually good change for once. Sizzle was so weak. It was 5 cost, deal 5 damage. Nothing on turn 5 dies to 5 damage. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 cards die, but those will get teleported in, so it didn't matter. Now it's gonna kill a lot of stuff in turn 3 and 4 at a fair or better cost, and now turn 5 it just cripples them for 3 cost. Actually, Sizzle viable. I'm happy with that. The Velociraptor package is now the name. Alright. They changed Velociraptor Hunter to Velociraptor Packmate. For some reason. Truly the change of all time. Zabricot is now a 4-1, it was a 4-2. What's the point? Like, Zabricot I get it, Zabricot is a glass cannon and all that, but the Cuckoo Zombie costs less than it. I don't know, man. Transfiguration got reworked. Now transforms itself at the end of a turn into a plant that costs 1 more and retains its own ability. This is, I guess, interesting. It's basically a leap station for the plants, but the plant is the leaf station. It's also just no longer gonna just it basically used to transform plants that got hurt into a random plant, which can go really poorly or really well. It was a complete casino. Now, it's still RNG, but it's actually gonna be good. It's gonna be the leaf station of all time. Atomic bomb granite now makes seedlings here and next door when destroyed. Before it was only next door. This might make atomic bomb granite actually good. But I'm not giving my hopes up just because you can have 2 seedlings guaranteed and maybe 3 seedlings at best. Lava guava is now 4 cost, was 5. Likely this change was done because of hot lava, since lava guava creates hot lava where it's placed, aside from dealing damage around it. So I guess it's a fine change. We'll go with hot lava. It implies now that lava guava itself was a 4 cost and lava was 1. Either way, it's definitely gonna make guava at least usable. It's not gonna be the best, but it's gonna be usable. Poison oak is now a 5/6 instead of 4/5. And it has anti-hero 5, so now this is the one card in the game that deals exactly 10 damage to the zombie hero. This is gonna be a brutal if it hits. It takes you down in 2 shots. I think Sunstrike users are gonna be simping over this Poison Oak after this update. Mega Grow. General. Now all bananas have been moved to the fruit class. Pretty good change. Bananas now are fruits, which means... Oh dear god. Maybe it's not such a good change now that I think about it. Banana peel now costs 2 instead of 1. Probably because of now fruits are part of it, not just bananas. I guess that's fine. Black Eyed Pea is now a 2/2, was 2/3. This is a bit harsh. Like, Black Eyed Pea was used to counter tricks, because that's its whole gimmick. It grows every time a zombie uses tricks. But 2/2 might be a bit much. Maybe a cost increase would have been better. I don't know. Now it dies way too easily to everything. But at least it's no longer gonna be a pain up the ass. Half banana now costs 2, was 1. Basically just means because of fruits getting buffed. Half banana, when it dies, it buffs whatever banana you have in your hand. Now it buffs fruits as well, so the cost change makes sense. But now it's a 2 cost 2/2 that needs to die to get any benefits, so we're gonna have to wait to see if it's gonna be good or not. Podfather is now a 2/3, was a 2/2. Actually, pretty good change because now it doesn't just die to a punchy blummer, but still, a lot of cards on turn 3 is just gonna absolutely demolish it. You could have used a damage buff too. Typical Please Stock now gets +1 health when playing next to Leafy card, previously only conjured. I don't know how to think about this. Sure, Beanstalk is now gonna be a blocker of damage, but by how much? It just adds 1 damage. It only conjures 3/4, big deal. It's still probably gonna die to a lot of stuff on turn 3. Cosmic P is now a 4 cost 2. Was a 3 cost 1/1. Ohio P. Truly Ohio P. Oh my god. I think this makes it worse. Sure, it deals slightly more damage, has more health, but it's now even pricier just to conjure a fucking P plant that has double strike. It's not good. It should have remained at 3 cost to make it somewhat good. Because at least it doesn't just charge the opponent's block meter for free, but it's still not much better to just deal 2 damage. There is a reason Repeater isn't considered that much better than P-Shooter. Potted Power Plows is now a 4/4 instead of a 3/3. I guess this helps it a bit. Just a bit. It's still not gonna be good because it doesn't have Untrickable or Stomp or Armor or anything to not make it die horrendously. That's only what change it could have used. It could have used to be Untrickable, so Rocket of Science isn't instant removal of this card, since you have to commit a lot to it. Wayfaring is now a 6/5. pretty good, I suppose. Now cards on turn 5 are more likely to die to it. Meh, it's still quite a meh plant though in the grand scheme of things. Bamboozle is now a 6-6 as a 5-6. Is this gonna make any difference at all? No, it's not gonna make it, because the whole deal of Bamboozle is that you place it on top of another plant, you sacrifice a plant to draw a card, and replace it with Bamboozle. This means nothing in the grand scheme of things. You needed to have drew more cards to make it worth it, because this whole thing costs 6 whole sun. 6 sun to draw a card by sacrificing a card. You could use Cop Cannon for instead. What about that game? It needs more than just a damage buff. Super Fat Beats is a 4-4, was a 3-3. I mean, it's the same deal as the normal Fat Beats. It's now just an overall better change. So it's better. Now the Smarty class, Laser Cattail is now a 2-2, used to be a 2-1. I guess it doesn't die as easily. I don't know, in the water a lot of things will have killed it anyways, because everything in the water tends to deal at least 2 damage. Unless it's Ducky Tube Zombie. Lightning Reed is now a 2-2, was a 1-2. And the splash damage remains 1. Why? I mean, sure, it's better, I guess, but it's still not gonna be worth it in the grand scheme of things. So Magic Beefs now shuffles 5 beanstalks in your deck, used to be 4. I suppose for 2 cost now this is gonna be a fine card. More likely to get a beanstalks. Although I definitely want to be hopeful that I get any beanstalks by the end of the day. RNG doesn't favor people. Mayflower is now a 2-4, it used to be a 2-3. I don't know, man, it's not gonna be the biggest game changer, but I guess it doesn't die to everything. No. Bean counter is now a... What the fuck? Yeah, this is truly the change of all time. Bean counter was terrible, now it's worst. How does that happen? Cartorley is now a 5-3, used to be a 5-2. Maybe now it's gonna see some play because Punchy Plumber doesn't just insta-kill it. Leaf Blower can now bounce gravestones, not only zombies. Oh, this is a massive one. Gravestones are problematic because only Gravebuster, Blockbuster, and Flick used to do anything against them. I suppose you could also have Frozen Squash, Frozen Bean, but that's pretty solid. It's already a freeze deck cancer that is arguably worse than Gravestone decks to begin with. Bouncing a Gravestone is gonna be pretty big because now you could counter stuff like Pogo Zombie, your messed up Grave Digger if you have any idea where something you want to remove is. Navy Bean is now a 3-3, used to be a 2-2. Much needed change because Navy Bean just wasn't good enough at that time. Snapdragon is now amphibious. Okay, much like Dark Matter Dragonfruit is now amphibious. It's gonna make any changes? I don't know. I really have no hope this is gonna be pretty big. You just lose some of the splash with this. But at least you could face something in the water, use it to deal a finishing blow. Melon Pool is now at 3-5, used to be a 3-4. Is this gonna be a good enough change? I mean, it doesn't die to literally everything, but it's not gonna be good enough in the grand scheme of things since it only deals 3 damage for its cost. Wintermelon now freezes a zombie on play. Previously, it didn't. This is pretty big because the whole deal with Wintermelon is that you place it once and it deals a lot of damage and freezes zombies. The problem is that it didn't have much health to work with though. So actually being able to just freeze a zombie, possibly the one in its face, and then just chain off of that freezes is pretty big. Now solar changes, oh boy. Haunted Pumpkin is now a 4-1, used to be a 4-2. Thank you. Now it ties to everything, which One cost plant dealing 4 damage is already fucking nuts, so actually having low health is pretty justified. Apple Saucer is now a 3-1, used to be a 3-2. What? No, really, what do you mean by that? What is this change? Who in their right minds just nerfs Apple Saucer of all cards? It needs to be played on turn fucking 6 to get any value via its strike through. You're telling me you're reducing its health. You know, at least it wasn't the damage, but this ain't much better. Truly the most unneeded change of all time, reverted. Now. Water balloons now give a -2/2 at base and 3/3 if you make 6 sun. We cannot target amphibious zombies for some reason. Okay, the reason is just fucking deadly imp, toxic waste imp. But literally, that's the only reason it doesn't target amphibious zombies for some reason. Sunstrike reworked. You know what? I was mentioning that Sunstrike users will simp over fucking Poison Oak. Never mind. Now Sunstrike has been reworked into cross-pollination. A 3-cost card that just conjures a flower in the fruit and they cost 1 less. What the fuck? It's really the most pointless, the most card-killing change I think I've witnessed. Okay, you conjure a flower in the fruit. If you don't conjure dark matter dragon fruit, it doesn't fucking matter. And flowers, I mean, sure, there are some solid flowers like rose, but yeah, it's not gonna matter for most flowers because most flowers either cannot attack themselves or are cannon fodder. Magnifying Glass is now 0-2, used to be a 0-1. Still dies to Punchy Plumber. Still dies to pretty much everything. It's still not guaranteed value that it's gonna deal a bunch of damage. Venus Flytrap is now a 3-1 instead of a 2-2. Now it's at least heals a significant amount of health upon dealing damage. But it dies literally to everything, so who cares? It's still gonna be trash in the grand scheme of things. Elder Perry is now a 2-3, it was a 2-4. Okay, this one is actually pretty harsh because Elder Perry, you have to sacrifice a plant in order to increase its damage. So, reducing its health is gonna hit hard. At least it wasn't the damage though, so it still can hit hard itself. But it's gonna die pretty easily now. Like Alien Ooze will just wipe it. Cobb Cannon is now a 4-6, used to be a 6-6. A blessing from the gods. Cobb Cannon is no longer just top tier. It no longer just wipes the floor with you. It's still absolutely strong, don't get me wrong. It's immediately killing a zombie and weakening 3 others. But at least it's no longer just insane amount of damage for the cost, which was a major fucking problem. Laser Beam got reworked. Now it's a 0-5 plant that gains 1 attack for each time you've made this turn. Considering this is a 6 card, the point where you start to play it, it's already gonna get a lot of value. It's exact amount of damage that you cop plates for on turn 6, and from there onwards it gets even more value. It's just gonna be pretty easily to kill though. It still dies terribly to something like Rocket of Science, but at least it's no longer like 5-7 that is outclassed by Elderberry. Also heroes, even the heroes got changes. More Spore from Nightcap and Solar Flare. Now lets you choose a lane where a bottom shroom is made. It was random for both of them. Thank you. The amount of times where RNGesus is the reason neither bottom shrooms go in the lane where a zombie is so fucking ridiculous that I'm just happy that I get to at least choose one buff from that guaranteed blocks an enemy. Huge Giganticus signature. Oh no, that's Grass Knuckles. Grass Knuckles signature Power Pummel can no longer hit face. Yikes. Like, I'm pretty happy because this was 6 damage on turn fucking 1 otherwise. But dear god, that's so fucking brutal because it only deals 2 damage per lane. So it's not even like it's gonna wipe a fucking field anyways. It's already gonna kill everything. Solarfell signature Soundburn now gives +2 on this turn. It used to be +1 sound for the rest of the game. I mean, you can play turn 2 cards on turn 1 now. Doesn't really mean much. Unless you just really want to see what Seedling rents you on turn 2. Seedling can't even turn into a Dark Matter Dragonfruit, so I'm not sure how worth it is. Anyways, this superpower is probably just dead in the fucking sewers. And Saint Uproot, Beta Carotinus Super, is now a 2-1 with Amphibious. It used to be a 2-2 without Amphibious. This is a change, I guess. I mean, Amphibious at least means it can hit face while also moving zombies or plants around, but it's not the biggest change. Still not gonna convince me to just open a bunch of packs to get Beta Carotino. Now, Beta Carotina signature, genetic amplification now gives +2/+1. Used to be a +1/+1. I mean, it at least makes it somewhat better. It's still the worst superpower in the game, or at least one of the worst, but at least it tries now. Now we go on to zombie changes. I personally prefer playing zombies, so these changes are especially hitting for me. Cat Lady is now a 4/05, used to be 0/4. I mean, it's fine. Not the biggest change, but it dies to a lot less stuff at least. Nibble! Oh my god, this change. Nibble now conjures a Gourmet card if it kills and no longer heals. It used to heal you for 2 if you use that. Words cannot describe how much I hate this change. I want my healing Nibble back now. I don't care, it gives me gourmet cards, and gourmet cards are just bonkers in all sorts of ways. I want my heal. I want my 2 heal. It saved me so often. I want it back, PopCap. The deal is that this is not even a confirmed conjure. It needs to kill the plant now to confirm Ain's ability. Otherwise, it's just a -1/-1, and that's it. Truly the most disgusting change I could have gotten for a Nibble. Yeti Launchbox is now a +2/+1. If the target is a pet, it was a 2/+1/+1 regardless of target. I guess it's gonna make it better, especially on Cat Lady, because Cat Lady's triggers every time you use Launchbox. Synchronized Swimmer was changed, but not relevantly. And now it's a 2-1 instead of a 2-2. But, you know, that's literally a nothing change because of what Synchronized Swimmer is. The whole gimmick is that you place it on the board and it imitates a zombie's stats. So, that 2-1 literally only matters if you place it dry. Who places Synchronized Swimmer dry unless you literally have nothing else to play? Which, how does that even happen to begin with? If you bring Swimmer, you have a bunch of shit to play to begin with. This change makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, dear God. Zookeeper is now 1-3, used to be a 2-2. I suppose it's gonna make it good now. It's gonna get value more consistently. But it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, since it's only gonna buff shit when you play pets. You still need to build a deck around pets to make Zookeeper remotely good. Alien Ooze, this is my favorite change. Now gives -3, -3 by default if you don't use it on heights. Used to be only 2-2. This is massive. Really fucking massive. A lot of cards are just gonna die now without being in an environment or on heights. I love this. B-Flood now costs 3, used to be 4. I mean, okay, it targets a random plant to destroy, so the cost reduction is a lot for it, but it's still not gonna make it good. Kangaroo Rider is now a 4-4, it used to be 4-3. Literally a who cares change. Its whole gimmick is that if it gets hurt, it bounces back into your hand. Unless it dies. The problem with that is that you just end up getting bricked because it doesn't stay on the field. He takes damage. You can just, the opponent can just keep cheap damaging it just to piss you off. Overstuffed Zombie now has Hunt and heals your hero for 2 after healing itself. Overstuffed Zombie suddenly being good. Actually really nice. Because the problem with Overstuffed Zombie is that it only healed itself and it decreased its health every time, but it was a 4-4. Now at least it has Hunt to... Now at least it has Hunt and it can heal you as well, so it's gonna be worth it to build around it. They're probably gonna need something like Sugary Treat or Hearty Treat with it. Primordial Cheese Shower is now a 4-4, used to be a 4-3. Makes it better. In the grand scheme of things, it makes it better. But it's still a card you use to sacrifice a card in order to destroy a plant. I mean, I always like this card anyways. So this buff is really nice. Vengeful Cyborg is now a 5-6, used to be a 5-5. Oh boys. Cyborg zombie fans are fucking simping at this one, I bet you. Deep Sea Gargantuar got reworked. Now it's a 6-card 6-6 with Hunt and Amphibious. And now whenever a zombie enters a lane, that zombie gets +1/+1. Basically, Deep Sea Gargantuar is now an alternative to the Hunt environment. Which is a pretty massive change. It used to be just stats. Now it's actually very fucking menacing and a must answer. King of the Grill now conjures Gargs whenever a Garg destroys a plant instead of conjuring gourmet cards. I love it when I conjure a Zombat out of a King of a Grill. I mean, the ability to conjure gourmet cards will be missed because gourmet cards are fucking bonkers. But with the recent buffs to Gargantuars, this is just massive. Nurse Gargantuar now heals when any Gargantuar deals damage, and it was only itself. The nurse is now viable. Nurse is now a massive threat. I fucking love it. Basically, a couple Gargs and you're back to full health since Gargs deal massive damage. I love this. Octozombie now makes an Octopet when playing. It previously made nothing. Actually, Octozombie is viable. Wild. I know, right? Somebot now has Gravestone but only destroys plants here next door. Was no gravestones and all plants. Oh dear. I don't like this change. I prefer the old Zombot. Now sure, it's gonna be destroying plants more reliably. At least now the opponent cannot just let you wipe his whole board and use 9 Sun to just play everything he has while blocking Zombot. But what this means is now you use 9 Sun just for a fucking Gravestone removal to completely shut you down. I don't like that just because of that. This Zombot is such a massive commitment. And it's suddenly dead on arrival if the opponent is Grass Knuckles, Rose, Green Shadow, Walnut, Spudow, fucking Citron, Beta Carotina. A bunch of heroes now can straight up completely shut down the Zombot if they have Grave Removal. Which they will after this change, just because of how deadly Zombot is now gonna be. Overall, I guess it's a very middle of the road change. A lot of good, a lot of bad. I want old Zombot personally. But I understand why people want Gravestone Zombot. Brainy. Mustache Waxer now gains 2 health when a mustache is played instead of just 1 health. You're basically gonna make Mustache Waxer unkillable. Basically the deal is that Mustache Waxer gives you 1 brain each time you play a mustache card and gains health at the same time. With 2 health plus 1 brain each turn, you can quite literally make this guy immortal if the plants don't have hard removal. And even then you could just, I don't know, play a zombie that has Sugary Treat or anything that could buff its damage just to prevent some forms of hard removal killing it. Backstash now gains +3/+3 on evolution, used to be a 2/2. Oh, this is gonna make Backstash so fucking stupid to face. I love it. But god, that's gonna be so fucking toxic too. Electrician is now a 2-3, used to be a 2-2. I guess this is a change. The whole deal with Electrician is that you use it to make another zombie do a bonus attack, so I don't exactly know why you'd buff Electrician's health. Gentleman's Zombie is now 1-4, used to be a 2-2. Dies harder, which is good, because its ability is that if it lives until the Trick's turn, it gives you brains. Extra 2 brains for the turn. Which is massive, so being a 1-4 is really good for it. Gifting Zombie got reworked. When played, you conjure a zombie with +1/+1. The plant played conjures a card that costs -1, that has -1s. It used to be draw cards. Oh boy. This is truly a change, isn't it? On one hand, it gives you a strong zombie and the enemy gets a weak plant, but on the other hand, you can no longer just use this as the funny Greek zombie. I don't know, I think they should have just been a whole different zombie altogether instead of a reworked regifting zombie. Trick or Treater is now a 2-4 instead of a 2-3. Tricky Treater fans are gonna love it when they get sugary treats now. Wormhole Gatekeeper has been reworked. Instead of making both players draw a card, now causes cards either played or conjured to cost 1 less. It causes each player to conjure a card at the start of turn. And it also loses Bullseye. This is gonna be a chaotic card. It's gonna be a really fun card just to see what kind of results you get. Zomblob is now a 2-5, used to be a 1-5. Truly a change. Now, not only is Zomblob even stronger, now it's... Yeah, just that. It's very strong now, as if it wasn't strong already. This should be reverted, I think, because this might just push it over the edge too much. Mad Chemist conjures now cost 1 less. It didn't need it, but fine, I guess. Pirate's Booty, a complete rework to... A complete rework. Now it's called Quarterly Bonus. It costs 4. It's gonna set a zombie's attack to 4, then it does a bonus attack. Oh yeah, and it used to be a 5 and it drew a card for each zombie. It went from a seriously situational card to somewhat usable. It's gonna be a very gimmicky card since you're basically just gonna need something like a Swabby or anything that just didn't deal 4 damage for this to get reasonable value. Gadget Scientist is now a 3-3, used to be a 2-3. This is the most why change. Why make Gadget Scientist better? It's already really fucking stupid. Gargantuan Mime is now untrickable. Why not just make it a gravestone instead? Untrickable makes this card definitely better, but seriously a nightmare to deal with. Basically, the gimmick is that if a zombie that isn't a mime does a bonus attack, and the plant that isn't a mime does a bonus attack, Gargantuan Mime will do a bonus attack too. It being untrickable is such a fucking nightmare, oh my god. I feel so bad for people facing Gargantuan Mimes now. They are gonna be fucking hating this thing just as much as Gravity is gonna be hated for untrickable stats. Portal Technician is now a 5-4, used to be a 4-4. Pretty good change. It now forces enemies to kill it because it deals too much damage. It's like a 4 hits and it kills you. If there's one problem with this, I guess, is that now you do not want it to die because it deals so much damage. Shield Crusher Viking now drains the plant's hero block meter on play. Holy fucking sure, what is this change? Suddenly Shield Crusher Viking is meta overnight, dear god. This has to be the most brutal buff I've witnessed in this whole game. You are basically completely countering entire cards here. There's a reason this thing was mainly used in fucking teleportation or mustache monument decks. Because otherwise this thing is too fucking good. This thing is too fucking strong with the ability to drain goddamn shield meter. And now it just does it automatically when it's split. Wizard Gargantuar now transforms another zombie into a random zombie that costs 1 or more. Previously he didn't. At least he didn't lose the ability to give Bullseye to Gargantuars, I think. I mean, this definitely is gonna make Wizard Garg better. It's a fucking leap zombie. It's a fucking leap that leaves a 6-7 body on the field. It's gonna be a pretty funny way to just suddenly summon a Zombot that has a Bullseye. Man, this is gonna be a fun card to troll it. Zombot Dynatronic Megazord is now an 8-8 with Bullseye. That fucking summons ancient zombies on the field every time it triggers its Dino Roar. This is overkill, I'll be honest. It's a 7-cost 8-8 with Bullseye that just makes the field nearly impossible to stop for plants if they don't kill the Dinotronic Megazord. You know, at least it's not untriggable. That would have been a true nightmare to deal with. But this isn't exactly gonna be fun to face. Well, it's not like I mind. I use Dinotronic Megazord in every deck I can. Now, crazy class. Grave Robber is now 2-1. Nerfed just because of fucking Infinity Pirates. No! Conman is no longer a pirate. Oh, swashbuckler Conman users are in shambles here. Conman is still gonna be really fucking strong, but man, the fucking swashbucklers are crying in a corner right now. Cookie Zombie is now a pet, used to be Clock. We lost Clock synergy, guys. It's over. Disco Dance Floor now has and provides Overshot 2 instead of Overshot 3. RIP Disco Dance Floor. Rest in peace, you might be missed. Exploding Fruitcake now deals 5 damage instead of 7, aside from the fact that it gives your enemy a fruit. Thank you. Thank you for nerfing this thing. It was so fucking bullshit to face. The only thing that could not die to this thing was a fucking Gravity because of Armor 1. Everything else just died horrifically for 2 cost. It's also a much needed change. Final Mission can no longer hit face. I think Final Mission might be dead, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Zobot's Wrath got reworked. Costs you, deals damage equivalent to a number of zombies. Used to be 3, it used to deal 3 damage if double if all lanes had zombies. So, now it's gonna be a 2-cost 0 damage or a 2-cost 5 damage at best. It's definitely a much better version of Zobot's Wrath, but good lord. If the plant hero just keeps having, if it's some asshole full with removal planting tricks, which I've faced before, then this thing is gonna get no value, and you're just gonna be raging the whole time. Abracadabra is now a 3, it used to be a 3-2. Much needed change, it died too easily. K-Explosion now costs 3 instead of 4. Basically, I guess, better fruitcake for now. Since it doesn't give the enemy a fruit anymore. And in fruits now, there is Brain Mana, which is fun. Very fun. Oh my lord. As if Dark Matter Dragon Fruit wasn't horrific enough. Gizzard Lizard now does 3 damage to plants on evolution. What's 2 damage? Imp decks are fucking feasting on this thing. They are gonna love this. Pine clones are gonna be fucking crying out loud after this. I don't think this is a healthy change in the slightest. There's a reason it didn't deal 3 damage, and that's just because it completely wrecks Pine clones. As if Pine clone isn't in shambles before this change. It's definitely destroyed after this change. This revoke it, please. This is too much. Moonbase Sea is now a battle. Use only science. This just means it can be conjured from Battle of Deadbeards, which is since this thing gives Overshoot, very fine, I guess. Since now you can use Overshoot on cases where you could not use it before. Headhunter is now named Bobblehead and does 2-4 instead of 3-4. Why the fuck do you even change his name? What does that even mean, Bobblehead? What is the logic? How is he related to Bobbleheads? And why the change though? He wasn't, I get he was good if you could use him right. I've used him right a few times and he just absolutely wrecks you if he's played well enough. But good lordy, I don't think you should have changed the numbers. Nor the name. Gargantua throwing imp is now a 4-cost 1, so it used to be a 5-cost 2. And it still conjures 5-cost guards, just only 5-cost guards. I guess this is a fine change. You now get a Smashing Guard for, or a Holy Pity Hop Guard, or a Frankenjuar for a 4-cost instead of 5-cost. We're gonna have to wait and see how good this makes it. Flamenco Zombie is now a 3-1, used to be a 3-2. Literally makes zero fucking changes because of if you're using Flamenco Zombie, you're using it with bloody binary stars to deal 8 whole damage in one go. Maybe even more if you have more dancing cards on the floor. This does jack shit. Frankenjuar now has splash damage you previously didn't. Fine. It's at least gonna be helping it slightly. It's just stats in the grand scheme of things, but it's nice to be buffed. Hippity Hope Guard now triggers when played and when hurt. I guess this is fine. I don't think it's gonna be the biggest game changer, but it's fine. Discotron 3000 now is a 5-5 instead of a 4-4. It's still 6 cards, it still conjures 1 mediocre card and 1 bad card. I suppose at least it itself deals a solid amount of damage. But it's not gonna make it out too much better. Hearty. Leftovers now cost 1 instead of 2. We basically have a better fucking Yeti lunchbox on Hearty class. Why use the Yeti lunchbox if you play Smash when you have leftovers? It's also pit, so it makes Cat Lady buff too. Oh, this is gonna be so good. But also it's so bad that it just kills the fucking Yeti lunchbox. RIP Yeti users. Lost Colosseum now costs 2 instead of 3. Fine, it gives Frenzy and 2 buffs. Terrify now conjures a monster. Oh boy. It used to be draw a card. It's better if you know you're drawing a card from your deck than to just conjure a monster. Sure, you could conjure Con Man, which is fucking nice. But guess what? There's shit in there that just straight up isn't good, like Hunting Goal or Vent Zombie. Just, it's gonna be the one, it's not gonna kill the card because moving a plant anywhere is massive, but it's just definitely gonna make it worse overall. Landscaper is now a 2-3, used to be a 2-2. I guess it's a fine change to the nurse plants. Bonus track Buckethead is now a 4-4, used to be a 3-4. And normal Buckethead didn't get buffed in the slightest. RIP Buckethead. Meanwhile, his brother over here that nullifies bonus attacks got buffed. RIP, rest in pepperoni, Buckethead. Celestian Custodio now is a 4-cost 3-4 and destroys a plant with 3 strength or less. It used to be with 2 strength or less and T2. Much better, definitely much better. Because a lot of 3 strength cards are massive threats. But I think it should have been 4-cost just so you can get rid of Cop Cannon. Turquoise School Zombie now gains +1/+1 when it takes away from the enemy's sanity of just 1 strength. Oh boy, I love Turquoise School Zombie and this is just gonna make him absolute AIDS to face. I think they should have just kept it, I don't think they should have changed him. I think they should have kept it only damage buff because health buff on a zombie that takes away your son every turn. Oh, that's gonna be so fucking cancer to face. Oh god. Zombie King is now 3-5-6 instead of a 3-5. Actually, I guess it's a fine change since the problem with Zombie King is that it died too fast. All-Star Zombie is now a trick, but previously wasn't. Finally, All-Star Zombie might be useful. Raw Zombies now cost 5 instead of 6 to steal 2 Sun. Sun Bandit decks are fucking laughing at this one. Laughing with this one. Oh, poor plants. Coffee Zombie. Alright, that guy. He's now a 5-4 instead of a 4-3. Actually justifies its stats for the cost. Undying Pharaoh now has Arbor 1. I guess it's fine. It can be chipped away. And I do like Undying Pharaoh, so that's a fun change for me. Somewhat Battlecruiser 5000 is now a 6 instead of a 6-5. Fun change. Wannabe Hero heals for 3 before setting its health, so basically you can guarantee more value out of Wannabe Hero. Has guaranteed value on play, and it's a massive big team body there. It's only stats in the grand scheme of things after the heal, but you know, it still makes it significantly better. Might actually use it. Sneaky class. Ducky Tube Zombie is now a 1-2 instead of a 1-1. It now no longer dies terribly, but it still doesn't quite deal enough damage. Mina Ninja is now a 2-1 with Anti-Hero 2, used to be a 1-1 with Anti-Hero 3. Mini Ninja, in a much better healthy state, I appreciate that. Monkey Smuggler now steals 1 block meter instead of 2. Monkus, poor Monkus, is dead. Is dead in the fucking bathtub. Captain Flameface no longer has Gravestone. Oh my fucking god. Do you have any idea just how bad that is for the entirety of the pirate zombie tribe? Oh boy, it's dead. The whole tribe is dying with this update. For the love of God. Imp Commander now has Gravestone, previously didn't. Actually a good change for pirates. Who would have known? Zombie High Diver is now a 3-2 instead of a 2-3. Actually good change, because the problem with High Diver is that it didn't quite deal enough damage. Firefighter is now a 5-5 instead of a 4-5. I mean, it's still super situational trash, but at least it deals proper damage. Bogo Zombie is now a 2-1, used to be a 2-2. It doesn't matter, it's still gonna be used for the same exact shit every time. Because its whole gimmick is that it's gonna bounce a plant off the board during tricks. And you know what? That 2 damage is usually used to kill a 2-2 anyways. So it died previously anyways. It's a nothing change. It's a nothing burger. Tomb Raiser is now a 5-3. Used to be a 3-4. Tomb Raiser... well, this is gonna make Tomb Raiser very brutal. It wasn't quite brutal enough before, I guess. And now because Zombot is a Gravestone, it just has a random chance to just pop in a fucking Zombot out of thin air. Why is that allowed? Untarred Viking, or instead, is now a 4-3 and now freezes its own lane without evolution and gets extra plus 1 response with it. Previously, it was 4-4 Frostlight, Terline, no buff on Evo. Well, instead, it's now really, it's gonna be solid, a solid card. Good job, Bobcat, on that one. Low-Gun Imp is now a 3-4, used to be a 3-3. On the Kings of Nothing Changes, Blowgun Imp might just top it. It's not bad because it barely has any health. It's bad because it doesn't quite deal enough damage to face. It's a 5 cost, still 3-3. Now it's a 5 cost 3-4 with Strike True and Deadly. It's not enough. And Evolution just bounce the blend, it's still not enough. They should have reworked the evolutions instead, or give it more damage. It's still fucking trash in the grand scheme of things. Cursed Gargoyle now steals 2 sections of the block meter when revealed. So every fucking turn, as long as the enemy doesn't either kill it during the combat or has grave removal, Cursed Gargoyle is just gonna completely shut out any hopes and dreams of blocking damage. You just nerfed poor Monkey's pirate and just make Gargoyle fucking stupid. Oh boy, what a change. Zombot Stomp is now a 6 cost was 7. Actually good change. Actually good changing for once after all this sea of garbage. Now hero changes. Dance Off from Electric Boogaloo and Professor Brainstorm. It has the same buff as More Spore, where you get to choose where a backup dancer spawns. Thank you. Super Brain Signatures carried away. It now gives a +1/+1 to the zombie. I need a moment to process. It's already one of the best superpowers in the game and you're making it better. Just because Super Brains isn't that place. Oh boy. Dear God. I feel so fucking... This is wanna make it overpowered. That's for sure. Brain Freeze signature frozen Thunder now freezes all plants. Why did it not do that from the fucking release of the game? Why was it only plants on the ground? Now it's all plants, thank you. Actually, thank you. Brain Freeze is gonna be good. Immortatia signature now makes 2 Zombots instead of Zom 1. I guess it's gonna make it slightly better. Not by much, but I guess it's gonna be better. Neptuna's signature Octopus now has Frenzy. And mind you, if we go back to Beastly, where is it? We can see that Octozombie now makes an Octopet like the signature of Neptuna. So now you get a 3-2 Frenzy on the field with Octozombie and with Neptuna. Very neat. Now huge gigantic signatures. Oh god. It now conjures a trick and an environment and only reduces the cost of tricks and environments. Huge Giganticus is dead in a ditch inside of a sewer while inside of a bathtub. Okay, I'm exaggerating because he still has his 3 other superpowers which are quite powerful to say the least, but good lord, his signature is fucking butchered. I feel bad. And I main huge Giganticus. That's the zombie I prefer to play, so this hurts specifically. Now that was all sunshine and rainbows, excluding some very questionable shit. But then we moved to known bugs that have yet to be patched when I record this. Wormhole Gatekeeper only makes the cards it conjures cost 1 less, doesn't actually conjure cards. It still draws, the only change after last time is the loss of both sides. Its board Gatekeeper barely works. The gifter draws cards instead of conjuring them. He straight up doesn't work. Wintermelon freezes a random blank. How does that happen? How? How do you make that happen? Cutting class can conjure zombie tricks which cannot be interacted with in any way. God. Holy shit, his Gigantic Super can conjure superpowers. Chill Crusher 5 causes others zombies to train the block meter if they hit a plant hero. Even when he's in your hand. Oh my god. Nurse card causes other cards to heal the hero when they do damage even while it's in the player's hand. Both Nurse Cards and Shield Crusher can attempt to trigger their effects while dead, soft locking the game. Oh my god. Nimble Seal heals the zombie hero and will always conjure a gourmet card when used. The only bug I want to be a feature. Please, please, PopCap, please make this bug a feature. Please. Overstuffed Zombie does not have this by the description saying it does. How? Deep Sea Arc only works when the zombie is moved. Not played. The description says only when moved anyways. That's not a bug, it's just people not figuring that shit out. Octozombie targeting text to sound Octopet is broken. It's not a gameplay effect, but it's pretty funny. How? You just added frenzy to it. How does that completely break the text? And you know, healing after it gains health, so bravo, balancing team. Quarterly bonus gives plus 4 strength instead of setting it to 4. No, it's giving the and it gives the fucking the bonus attack to random zombie instead of the zombie you selected. How? How? How does that happen? I don't get it. Left cards are not sparkable for full cost. Cards nerfed from the previous patch still are. Truly the changes of all time. Monks get targets in cell despite specifying another zombie. And selects randomly instead of being a choice. Good job on that code, I guess. From when it only reduces the cost of the trick it made and not other tricks in your hand, and also reduces the cost of the impairment of in the plant slayer set. I can't. How does this happen? Here the Hobgoblin can attempt to make an A in an occupied lane and then fail. Warballoons doesn't actually need to target non-biggest zombies. I'm laughing so I'm not crying. I'm laughing so I'm not crying. Oh, what still is this? Overall, am I happy or not that the game got updated? I'm happy it got attention, but I'm not happy they don't bother to test this shit. How do you not test some of these changes? How does some of these bugs even happen? Oh, I need some water. Oh, that's it for my reaction to these changes. Holy shit. Oh my god. Poor pvzheroes. I'm done, bye.